Okay, Judge, for live, ma'am.
All right, good morning. This is Judge Alyssa Perez presiding over the 210 District Court criminal docket for November 16th, 2021. All matters being heard today are being heard in accordance with all emergency orders and directives regarding COVID-19. In addition to that, we are streaming all matters live via YouTube for public viewing. Mr. Pantoja, would you call our first case, please?
Yes, Judge. Judge, Ms. Butterworth and I believe Mr. Carmona are here on Gabaldon, but I believe he said
At 3 o'clock?
yes, ma'am.
Okay. We may have, I don't know, we may have mentioned possibly, I don't know if it was on Gabaldon. I didn't see it on the docket for the morning docket either. Did you all need to approach on something? I believe it was for the 3 p.m. docket, if I'm not mistaken.
I thought I had it, Your Honor, I had it as 9, I still had it at 9 a.m., but I already have Fabian Gallardo with you at 3 o'clolock.
I think Gallardo's the one that we put at the morning docket, and then we put again in the afternoon docket, basically to get an update. And then if we need to obviously get your client on board. So I don't see, am I right on that? I don't have, what's your other client's name? The one with Ms. Butterworth?
Gabaldon.
That's on page 11, Judge.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I was looking on,
But it's set at 3 p.m.
It is. Okay, there it is. All righty. What is it set for at 3?
Final judges,
final
Judge.
judges, but also, sorry, Brian, also deadline for objections and other motions pending, ma'am.
Yeah, lo vi. Okay, so you want to handle it right now? Is that what I'm hearing?
Judge, so Mr. Cox will be jumping on for that one, but I can see if he's available right now, but I was going off of the 3 o'clock setting on the docket. So let me send him a message, but yeah, I was under the understanding that this was set for 3 o'clock. Because there's a motion he filed late yesterday.
So I'm just looking at the entries here. The one that caught my attention was the motion for continuance. So let me just see what else has been filed. State's notice filing a translation, objection to the state's untimely filing of the translation, and state's objection to COVID procedures. Okay, Mr. Carmona and Ms. Butterworth, are you all wanting to go forward this morning on some of these motions?
We are, Judge, and I apologize. We had it set for this morning.
As did I. But whatever the court wants to do, Ms. Butterworth, I don't know what your schedule is like, but I did have it at 9 o'clock as well. And I apologize if maybe I miscalendared it.
I'm asking you guys because if you don't mind that your client is not here. that's the only reason.
We're fine. We'll waive his presence, and then what is the setting at 3 o'clock? So in fairness, if they had noticed at 3, Omar, are you available at 3?
I am.
So if we need to wait for Mr. Cox at 3, if he's not able to come on right now.
Are we going to get Curtis, Mr. Herrera?
Talking to him right now, Judge. Let me see if he's available.
Had you all seen the motion for continuance and then the objection to the trial procedures? So you're prepared to go on those as well?
We are prepared, Your Honor, and we filed in response an objection to continuance. And if granted, Judge, we would want to be hearing a motion to dismiss for lack of speedy trial.
Have you filed a speedy trial motion ever? No.
We did, Your Honor.
Okay. Can you just, because in my system so slow, do you know when you filed it? Can you I'm
It was,
looking-
it was yesterday evening after Ms. Butterworth and I had time to go over the motion to continue. And so we
Because
filed
I
it
think
right
the
after.
motion, I think the motion for continuance was filed yesterday as well. Am I correct? I'm not
Yes.
getting service
Yeah, that-
copied on any of this stuff. I'm
Mhm.
relying on Omar.
Yes.
That's
looks
correct.
like- Okay. I'm just looking at what trials are going on December 3rd, because I think part of the state's motion for continuance is that the date? Is that Mr. Cox is summoned for jury duty?
That's correct. They're asking for a continuance, although I think we're set the day before.
Mhm.
And Judge, he can be on in a couple of minutes, so I don't know if you want to.
Okay, if y'all just want to stand by real quick, if we can get him here, let's start going through some of these, but in the meantime, let's go to our next case. We have another one queued up.
Yes, Judge. I've got Gracia on page 2, ma'am.
Sandy, I just sent you a Teams message, which is not for you. I'm sorry.
Okay, yes,
All right.
It's Gracia on page 2. Yes, Judge. Cause number 2021-0D00721, State of Texas versus Erica Gracia. Announcement of council. Please.
Brian Herrera for the state of Texas. Ready, Your Honor.
Neil Avalar for Erica Gracia, Your Honor. Good morning, Judge.
Good morning. This is a final hearing plea deadline. I am fairly certain we don't have a trial this Friday. So where are you all?
Judge, I think the defense has been wanting a trial on this one. We're still open to negotiations, but yeah, I don't think we're at an agreement just yet.
What was the last rec?
I believe, I'm sorry, Judge, I have Gabaldon pulled up.
I have it as 10 AP
Yeah,
and
10
dismiss count one.
I believe that's right. I don't know if it was deferred or AP.
Well, we had two options. It was 10 AP and dismiss count one. And then 5 deferred on all 3 counts is the second option
Okay, yeah. That's what I showed, Judge.
on a robbery. So 5 deferred reduced to a robbery on all 3 counts would be the second option.
Okay, and so your client is not accepting that rec, Mr. Avalar?
No,
Okay.
Your Honor.
Okay, so client is not in custody. Do we have her checked in, Mr. Pantoja?
Judge, she did check in yesterday, Judge, yesterday morning.
Okay, perfect. So we are going to, Mr. Avalar, any trouble with our, our regularly scheduled trials setting, which the next one is June 3rd, I believe.
No, ma'am.
Okay, so we're gonna just get you a new trial track.
Okay.
All righty, thank you very much.
Thank
If you all
you.
make
Judge.
any movement, we'll see you at the interim settings.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that all
Thanks.
you have, Mr. Avalar?
Judge, I have a final judges for whenever I know you're.
Is that the only one left? Let's go ahead and take care of his final judges, Chuy.
Yes, Judge, that's on Miranda, page 4.
Okay,
Cause number 2019-0D06012. Cause number 2021-0D00454. And cause number 2020-0D01157. State of Texas versus Elijah Andres Miranda. Announcement of council, please.
Brian Herrera for the state of Texas. Ready to proceed, Your Honor.
Daniel Avalar for Elijah Miranda.
okay, final judges conference. How are you all doing? I think I had checked on his PR compliance
Good.
and
I think you have good news on that end, right, Your Honor?
right. He's been compliant.
Good.
Let me see. What I don't see is a new one. Sandy, can you ask Josh to send me a new one? This one, it's not that far back, Mr. Avalar, because I think we were here maybe about 2 weeks. I feel like we were here just a few weeks ago.
We were here on the 2nd, Your Honor.
Okay, so the last one I had received was from October 18th. So I'm going to request a report from PR just to make sure we're still in good shape. When's your trial?
You know
Your
what,
Honor, if
Judge?
I may, there's 2 settings, one for 12-2 with a backup of 2-4, Judge.
So you all haven't worked this out?
Judge, we are, I don't anticipate this one being a trial. I'm just waiting, to get the final approval, from Ms. Rosales on the recommendation for
Mhm.
probation on this one.
Okay, so we're gonna
Um,
keep our dates then, okay? So hopefully
yes,
you
ma'am.
have that for that final hearing plea deadline. Looks like we may not be going to trial, but if we do, I think we'll be going to the backup date. But let's stick with our December date.
Yes, Judge.
Alrighty.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is
Okay,
that it,
thanks.
Mr. Avila?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thanks. Y'all be
Thank
safe.
you.
Thank
You
you.
too.
Bye.
Who's next, Chewy?
Okay, Judge Reyes on page 6.
Okay,
And
Uh,
just to let you know, Judge, I'm sorry, Mr. Cox is in the
in the
meeting.
meeting?
Yes.
Okay, let's take care of this one. Go ahead, Chewy.
Yes, Judge. It's cause number 2021-030-0716, State of Texas versus Crystal Destiny Reyes. Announcement of council, please.
Brian Herrera for the state of Texas, ready to proceed, Your Honor.
Christopher Anchondo, on behalf of Ms. Reyes, we are ready, Your Honor.
Okay, this is another final hearing plea deadline. Do you all have a rec?
Judge, the recommendation from the state is 10 years deferred adjudication. There were some outstanding 911 and information that Mr. Anchondo was waiting on. That is up on the portal now. But I don't know that we've got an agreement just yet.
Okay, Mr. Anchondo?
I just did get those about 2 weeks ago is when they were uploaded. I have been able to look at them a little bit here and there, and it still does cause me some questions regarding the incident. I know that the wreck is that much. I have had trouble communicating with Ms. Reyes. I know that she did not check in as far as my updates from Chewy. And so I am having some issues communicating that wreck to her. But on the side note with regards to this, Judge, I may need to have a suppression hearing based off of this evidence that we got. Mainly because I still, and I can talk with Mr. Herrera about this later to see where we can meet on this. Maybe with my compelling arguments to him, he may be willing to to come with a little bit lower probation rec, or we can go from something else. But I think my one thing is just sitting down with Mr. Herrera to talk to him about it. I have not had a chance to, but also to communicate with Ms. Reyes.
So I did receive an unfavorable report from PR on your client. They've had no contact with her.
I'm not shocked.
I can tell you, Mr. Anchondo, I received this Friday, and I requested a violation notice. I don't know why I haven't received it yet.
Yeah,
So-
I'm not shocked by any of that, Judge. Like I said, I've had some difficulties myself communicating with her.
So I'm proceeding that way. What we're going to do is I'm going to give you, this is a final hearing plea deadline. I'm going to give you a new trial reset, but there's going to end up being a capias for your client. And file your motion to suppress if you haven't done so already. I guess it's on the new stuff. And, you know, when you need a hearing, we'll get it set. We'll just see where we land with their new trial date.
Okay, sounds good.
Righty. Thank you very much.
And Judge, I'm sorry, one last thing. Ms. Reyes does have a pending case with our office for an aggravated assault offense date of August 28th, 2021. It's in screening right now. It was accepted yesterday.
I didn't see that as part of her PR report. When did she go on? What, 2021? Yeah, okay. So we have something else outstanding. So
Yes, Judge. So I imagine those two will probably follow the same trial track once it's indicted.
okay, that's, yeah, the report from PR says they've had no contact with her since August 2021. Coincides with-
Yeah, this is news to me as far as this new ag assault.
I don't see you on there yet, Mr. Anchondo. So I don't know if you were appointed or retained, but you're not listed on the new.
Yeah, we're appointed, so it should hit us up at some point there, if that's.
Yeah. Yeah,
But,
okay.
Yeah.
So Sandy, do we see that one? Is there another attorney appointed on that? Or is it too early?
I think it's too early, but let me look somewhere else.
Let me see if I can give you all a
Is it the complaining witness on the co-defendant here?
Yes.
Yeah, I figured. They're in a very stable relationship.
What was the offense again? Ag assault?
Ag assault.
So, yeah, okay. So we'll be working on that one for a minute.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Well,
If,
Then-
to the best that we can track both cases, obviously we'll do it. We've got a little bit of time, but we're gonna try and find your client.
very good. And I'll talk to you, Mr. Ed, about my.
Yes, sir. We'll be in touch.
my
Thank
argument.
you.
All right. Thank you, Judge. May I be excused?
Yes,
Just
sir.
a minute, Mr. Anchondo.
Oh,
Dale.
He's got one other case, Judge Nunez, on page 6 as well.
oh, Pedro.
Oh,
Oh, just a small case.
do we have, go ahead, Chief.
Yes, Judge. Just a minute, Mr. Anchondo.
Yeah.
Cause number 2020-0002897. Cause number 2021-0002706. State of Texas versus Pedro Nunez. Announcement, council, please.
Brian Herrera for the state of Texas, ready to proceed, Your Honor.
Christopher Anchondo on behalf of Mr. Nunez, we are ready, Your Honor.
Okay, 2801 deadline.
I will be filing my 2801s, Judge, on this, as well as all my other motions.
When are we set for trial?
Well, I think we put this with the older case to track it, which this case was just indicted maybe 3 weeks ago. So I know we're not going to reach that.
Okay, so we need a backup date without canceling that one. Sandy, maybe we can just do that June 3rd. Yeah,
Yes, ma'am.
do a backup of June 3rd. Okay.
Okay.
Timetable, Mr. Anchondo, so we'll
Yeah.
we'll just work through whatever issues we have ongoing, and if either of those don't work, we'll figure out a good.
Sounds good. And then Mr. Herrera, can you tell me, are you going to be covering that one, or is it going to be assigned?
We're keeping, the 210th is keeping this one as far as me and Mr. Flores. So yeah, this one is ours.
All right.
So yeah, any inquiries on this one, send them my way and Mr. Flores' way.
All right. Fantastic.
Cool, thank you, guys.
May I be
Thank you,
excused?
Mr. Anchondo. Yes, you are. All right.
Thank you.
So let's go back. Do we still have Mr. Cox? Yes, there he is.
Yes, Judge.
All right, Chewy, let's go back.
Yes, ma'am. It's cause number 2021-0000530. State of Texas versus Ivan Gabaldon. Announcement, council, please.
Your Honor, for the state, Curtis Cox and Brian Herrera.
Your Honor, Omar Carmona and Denise Butterworth on behalf of Mr. Gabaldon. Your Honor, we ask that you waive Mr. Gabaldon's appearance as he is incarcerated at the El Paso County Jail Annex.
Okay, and I think, why can't I not find it on my docket?
Judge, it's on page 11.
Yeah, that's a problem. I think my printer ran out of paper and I stopped at page 10. So thank you, Mr. Cox, for being here a little early. I think we had some confusion about the scheduling. In any event, this was our deadline for objections. I was just going over briefly the recent filing. So I do see the state's motion for continuance. There was, I think, a translation. Let me go back to the Odyssey file. All right. Motion for continuance, objection to the trial procedures, the COVID-19 untimely filing of the translation. So let's start with that one. Well, let me ask, have you all worked on anything? As I still see a bunch of disagreement, so I'm assuming that things are not worked out.
No, Your Honor.
Okay, what's the rec? What's the rec, Mr. Cox?
Mr. Herrera, can you see that? I don't have the case.
There's not a rec on this one, Mr. Cox.
Yeah, I think that's because the defense has actually just asserted a general denial all along, which I respect, and indicated they want a trial as quickly as possible. So
Okay, so we're just going forward. Gotcha.
it appears that that's where we're at.
Okay.
I'll be happy to negotiate with them if they want to, but obviously it's their client's right to just demand that we prove it. So.
Okay, so it looks like let's see, the notice of filing translation that was on November 10th. Return a copy of the following documents interview. This is an interview of your client. Is that what it is?
It is his recorded statement to the police. And after I took over the case, I determined nobody had apparently had it translated.
Mhm.
So we did, and we filed it. I'm not going to dispute that it did not get filed 45 days before this trial date.
Okay, okay. And so, Ms. Butterworth or Mr. Carmona?
Your Honor, as far as that one point on the translation, I had been in communication with Mr. Adam Hines, and I know from my understanding, Mr. John Briggs was in the room with him on speakerphone while we were discussing this. I had been requesting this copy, or at least a transcript of the statement since as early as March the 10th, Your Honor. And it wasn't until recently that we got a copy of our own client's statement.
Yeah.
So the concern was, it's not for a lack of us requesting it. We had been requesting it for quite some time, since March of this year. So as you see, this is, we're here because of this.
Yeah, I'm not going to dispute that. I mean, the thing that may not be visible to the naked eye is that at some point after the time when the defense was talking to Mr. Hines, Linsui Vergara took over the case, and apparently for at least the next 6 months effectively did nothing.
Okay.
And then I took it over primarily because of the aforementioned circumstance.
Okay, so Mr. Cox, have you seen their objection? Of course, they're asking for exclusion of the statement
Yeah.
as a remedy. What is your position?
I think that for the current trial date, it's certainly not been timely filed, and so it would certainly be excludable for this coming trial date. If for some reason the trial date should get moved, then I don't think the same concern applies.
Okay, okay. All right. So I'm going to hold off on that one, folks. Let's go back. Let's go then to I want to hear about the state's motion for continuance and the objection to the trial procedures.
Okay.
And I apologize. My Odyssey is so slow when I toggle through. That's why I ask you to just kind of tell me, and eventually my documents will catch up. Go ahead, Mr. Cox.
Let me address the state's objection to trial procedures first. That's effectively pro forma. Basically, I am aware of a fairly copious set of case law which indicates that if the parties, in particular the defense, are not allowed to see the faces of the prospective jurors during voir dire, it constitutes reversible error. So we objected to holding a voir dire in which the jurors are wearing masks at any time, because I really do not want to do a trial on this case and have it come back on appeal because no one was able to see the faces of the prospective jurors during the course of voir dire. And my reading of the case law is it is not sufficient to see their face when they are talking. You have to be able to see their face during the entirety of the voir dire, whether they are answering a question or simply listening to the questions or the responses by other prospective jurors. So we filed that just to put it on the record. Like I say, I consider it to some extent to be pro forma, but we filed it so it would be on the record.
So the issues I see here, Mr. Cox, that you brought up is that the issue of the face coverings for voir dire. I don't know if that extends. I would assume it extends through the entirety of the trial because the jurors would then continue to wear a mask. And then in addition to that, I see panel size being the other issue.
Yeah, I don't read the case law to evidence the same concern for being able to see the faces of the jurors during the actual trial. I do know there is a fairly extensive line of case law that says that basically it arose in the context of whether and when the parties had to be provided with juror sheets during voir dire. And the holding has been that they don't have to be provided with the jury sheets until right before they start asking questions, but they have to be allowed to see the faces of the prospective jurors throughout the voir dire, and not just some of them, all of them. So I don't think it's a problem that carries over to trial, but I think it's a pretty much reversible error if parties can't see the faces while they're doing voir dire.
And so I don't see that case law cited in the objection. Can you provide that or supplement your objection?
Yeah, we can supplement that. It'll take me probably a couple of days to get that together. It's been a while since I did that research.
Okay, if you will, thank you. If you will provide it by Thursday, please, so I can review it.
Very good.
Obviously, do want to take a look at that. That's out there. So because I think we can take these together, then the state's motion for continuance, I think at least one issue I reviewed is your unavailability, Mr. Cox.
Yes, Your Honor. After I, at a previous hearing, made the statement, but I think it was about Clevie Nelson's case, that we were going to do everything to be ready. I received a jury summons. It happens to be for the 3rd of December, which is the day after we are scheduled to do voir dire in this case. So I think I will not be available. That's the first one. The second one is we did, once the case got back on track, submit 10 pieces of evidence for forensic testing. And those have not come back yet. And the third is there are 3 witnesses I'm aware of we have not located yet. It's Louis Bueno. The other 2, I'm horrible with names, but there's one of them, a female.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Where it was actually reported that she had said that one of the other witnesses was actually responsible for the murder and not the defendant. So we haven't located them yet. I need to talk to that woman about just exactly, is this true that you have testimony that somebody other than the defendant killed the decedent? But we have not located those 3 witnesses who are named in the motion.
I do see Mr. Cox, Luis Bueno, Juan Villaseñor, and Priscilla Valenzuela. Do
Yes.
none of these, and I mean, I understand that concern there. Do none of these there were no statements taken during the investigation?
There was a statement taken from Mr. Bueno. I have not seen any statement from Priscilla Valenzuela, I guess her name is.
There's a statement. There's a statement from her, and there's also a statement from Mr. Villaseñor.
Okay.
Okay.
All righty. Okay, anything else on those 2, Mr. Cox?
No, that would be the 3 grounds enunciated in that motion.
Okay, thank you. Who's gonna take it? Mr. Carmona or Ms. Butterworth?
Okay, Your Honor, with regard to, I don't know how the court is gonna, I don't know, is Mr. Cox on your panel, Your Honor? I mean, that would easily.
No, I don't have one for the 3rd. I have 2 panels on the 2nd. And actually, that's what I went up to look, was the calendar, this nifty calendar. Let me see. And I don't want to say this on YouTube, but it's such a mess, right? Like there's several entries on any given day and you have to kind of look and see. So I know the 120th is a backup to everybody. The 171st, it says priority. 243rd is also approved and CCR 4 is approved. I don't see cancellations on any of those. If memory serves, the 243rd was number 1. But anyways, I do see those panels. So no, it's not me. It's not me.
And Your Honor, look, I'm going to get into this because my client's the one in custody right now, and he's been in custody since late February. So we want to try this case right away. Okay. My client's family is starving in Mexico without him working. So I'm going to do everything I can to push this case to trial. Well, I understand Mr. Cox's concern. If he has jury duty, he has jury duty, and we can't do anything about that. But Your Honor, by my count, there's been at least 7 different prosecutors that have had some hand in this case. 2 are no longer with the DA's office. I understand that, Mr. Hines and Miss Vergara. But at some point in time, Mr. Herrera's handled this case. Miss Ashley Martinez has handled this case. Renee Flores has handled this case. From when Miss Butterworth and I did an evidence review, I believe it was Miss Hasboon and Miss Hill that were present for that evidence review at the evidence locker, Judge. So I mean, I'm gonna insist that people have had a hand in this case, and we are ready to try this case, Judge. It's the great state of Texas. So, we believe that with the amount of people that have touched this case, they should be ready on the trial date. And again, I'm focusing on this because my client is just sitting in jail, okay? And there's no end in sight for him.
Well, and if I might interject on that point, since I am moving for a continuance, I am not going to take the position that I am opposed to the court lowering the defendant's bond to an amount that he could afford and get out.
He can't afford it. He can't afford it. It's got to be a PR bond, or there's, we're in the same situation.
Okay. Because the state is saying it is not ready, I am not going to object to that.
Okay, well, when I think about doing justice, Mr. Cox, I don't think it's fair to the court to be in a position, because I recall, well, I know you were not here for many of the transition times on several cases, but to include this one, where I just don't think that cuts it to say that, we've had so much transition and basically lo and behold, we just kind of dropped the ball for 6 months while somebody's waiting in jail. I can appreciate, I think the things that you've listed in your continuance, I'm not so sure about if the jury duty one bugs me as much, but certainly with respect to the witnesses, obviously does bring me concern because you're at a disadvantage as well. I mean, you're not operating from a place where you can say, oh, I do have this statement or I've talked to this witness, because you all haven't done that. But unfortunately, I think that's on you all for not. We've been on this case for quite a while. I do want to review though the case law that you have regarding the process, because that does concern me. Obviously, I'm not trying to push a process that ultimately is not the right one. And so I want to consider that. So with respect to your objections and the motion for continuance, I will have a ruling for you all this week, but operate knowing that we're going forward for now. I want to see the case law, Mr. Cox. If you have any updates on your witnesses as well, and we'll go from there. What I can tell you, if you all filed that written motion, I guess, or response to any of the state's motions, other than the one regarding the translation, I'll look for it on Odyssey. But I think I hear your points here today. Do you all need to come back, Mr. Carmona, Ms. Butterworth, at 3 p.m.?
I'm going to be on regardless, Judge, on another case, so I'll be here.
I'm just saying, for your client's benefit. Yes, Mr.
And Your Honor, just to be completely transparent, I am also planning to take this case back to the grand jury to re-indict it as a capital murder.
Okay.
That will happen, assuming we can get a quorum before the trial date in this case. And then we will decide whether to seek the death penalty.
Okay.
And Your Honor, my response to that is, as you heard with the amount of lawyers that have handled this, Mr. Cox had told me on November the 4th that he was still going through, he was now on this case and he was going through the evidence. Now I respect, that he would need time to get, all caught up with, I think he told me that he had 300 pages left of discovery to go through on November 4th. And I'm sure he's gone through it by now, but we're in a situation where weeks before trial, now we're looking at a capital murder. And my thought is this is just a way to delay. We are ready. And if they indict, Your Honor, we are willing to waive our 10 days.
Okay. All right.
I do not think we can do that while we consider whether to seek the death penalty. However, I will seek the death penalty if that's what becomes necessary.
We'll still waive our 10 days, Judge.
Okay.
I'd like to put a couple of things on the record as well to make sure it's crystal clear for the record, especially when the court is considering our motion for speedy trial.
Mm-hmm.
The conversations, obviously I was not privy to, but Mr. Carmona quickly called me after he had a conversation with Mr. Cox. The date was November 4th. I just want to make sure that that is on the record, November 4th, 2021. Where Mr. Cox is now asserting he is lead counsel and first chair. The court knows that we've had multiple discovery motions and hearings months before this case was set for trial. And on November 4th, Mr. Cox told my co-counsel he was only halfway through the discovery. I just want to make sure that that's on the record, because what it is showing the court, and hopefully the record will be clear, is that there is a lack of preparation, irregardless of who decides they're going to be first chair, second chair, third chair. This date has been in the books for a while, and it is on, as a whole, the DA's office to be ready for trial. When Mr. Cox told Mr. Carmona that they were possibly going to re-indict, he hadn't even gone through all of the discovery. I just want to make sure that that point is clear. We obviously don't have any admission that a possible re-indictment would be to stall the case, but I want to make sure that we've got a point-by-point bulletin of what is going on. They have filed a notice of translation of the statement. Very untimely. Mr. Cox concedes it's untimely. Therefore, if we were to go to trial on December 2nd, that piece of evidence is not available for the state of Texas. And it is very obvious to every trial attorney listening to this hearing on YouTube on the screen right now, that they would have no statement from their client or our client, the defendant. Then when you break down the case a little bit more, they're also telling the court, well, we don't have any witnesses ready. We have no witnesses. And so we're asking for a continuance. Well, there's not, that I can see, and I checked as of early this morning, there hasn't been one single subpoena request filed in the portal for any of the named witnesses that they're asking for a delay in the case on. I want to make sure that is on the record. There has been no subpoena issued or again, any preparation for this jury trial setting. And of course, I'm beating a dead horse on the DNA, so I'll quickly cover that one. Again, Judge, you know through the prior discovery hearings that Mr. Cox wasn't here for, that the listed reason for a continuance while our client stays in jail, that there's no DNA, is 100% at the fault of the state of Texas. They had months to look at that evidence, to figure out what evidence to send to DPS for DNA testing. And now they're coming back, relying on that as a reason to delay the case. Of course, I know that the record will be very clear on all of the different hearings we had on that one. And of course, we're objecting to that as well. So the reason for the state continuance really is they have no witnesses served. They have no statement from our client. As a former prosecutor, I can tell you they are probably sitting there looking there, how would we ever prove this case at the December 2nd hearing? And so now, yesterday, we get a motion for continuance filed by the state of Texas with these 3 reasons, and then an objection to picking a jury where jurors are wearing masks. And I could be totally wrong on this, but my understanding is that the state of Texas has proceeded forward on jury trials, has announced ready on jury trials before, but lo and behold, on this one, when they are caught super behind on their preparation, they're asserting that objection to going forward on a jury trial, even though they've announced ready and have tried other criminal cases this year while jurors are wearing masks. I will also tell you, Judge, I had a conversation with Mr. Herrera on Friday, where we've been talking about discovery issues. And I could have sworn that at the last hearing, you had requested that all our motions be filed at least 2 days before this hearing, so that everybody would have time to look at them and respond to them. At least that was the impression that myself and Mr. Herrera were under when we had the conversation on Friday. So when we were talking on Friday, we both talked to each other and in full disclosure said what motions we were going to file. And so I had let Mr. Herrera know that I did not see, because I'm not being serviced on any of these filings. So I didn't see the notice of the filing of translation until the 10th. Of course, the 11th was a holiday. So on our conversation on the 12th, I told Mr. Herrera, just FYI, our one last filing that's technically behind this 2-day deadline that you had given us last time, is going to be filing a notice to your objection of the translation under the rules of evidence. It's late. It had to have been filed 45 days before trial. Mr. Herrera, what are you filing? And he said, we are filing an objection to the jurors wearing a mask. And that was it. Not that it doesn't matter. They were filed anyway. But I want the record to reflect that we believe that the motion for continuance that was filed yesterday is simply because they are not prepared, and it is for delay, because it is, especially now we're going to go back. I haven't gotten through the discovery, but I'm going to indict your client for capital murder. Again, we believe that is also for delay. If Mr. Cox hadn't even gone through the discovery and he's saying he's going to re-indict for capital murder, and I still wonder, has anyone still looked at our client's statement, which was what we were screaming a few months ago? Has anyone looked at this case to see if he has a viable self-defense argument? But we will litigate that. We want to litigate it. We are ready for trial. We believe some of these filings are simply for delay. And I want to make sure that record is crystal clear, especially when the court has a motion for speedy trial in front of it. Thank you, Judge.
Okay. All right. So unless the state has something else, then I'm going to await, Mr. Cox, the information that you have regarding the mask wearing, and you all will have a ruling on all of these motions before the end of the week.
I have just one last comment in response to Ms. Butterworth's points. I had the statement translated and filed so that the translation would be done at the state's expense and would be available to the defense. I personally don't see any point in presenting that statement myself, because all it does is give the defendant a self-defense claim and precludes the defense from having to call him to testify and allow me to cross-examine him. So I'm not actually planning on using it at this point. I think the evidence I've seen paints a very clear picture that this was an intentional killing in the course of and furtherance of a robbery. Everything from the location of the stab wounds on the body of the deceased to the fact that the defendant then took off with his vehicle and sold it to someone else for $200. So no, I don't have any concern with the statement of the defendant. I did not file it for my use. I filed it to make it available to the defense at the state's expense because I felt that was the right thing to do.
And Judge, we look forward to trying this case on the merits on December 2nd.
Okay. All right. Thank you both. Thank you all. Mr. Cox, please, the soonest, I know you're very busy, but the soonest you can get me that case law or, the supplement with some explanation to get to the point, please do that. I'd like to have it no later by end of day Thursday, okay?
Okay, I will see if I can find it again. I researched it about 2 years ago in the context of a case I was defending.
Sure. Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you all. If no one needs the 3 o'clock setting, well, Mr. Carmelo, you'll be here. So in the event we can accommodate you, I know we're really slammed at 3 o'clock, but just in case you need to have a bit of time with your client, we don't necessarily have to have a hearing, but maybe we get to the breakout room, okay? All right.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you all. Y'all are excused.
Mr.
Oh.
Carmona has one other
yes.
matter, Judge.
I
Yes.
still have some, I can wait.
Okay, perfect. So can we get, is Virginia Velasquez today or no? No? Sorry, I'm not looking at my docket. Okay, sorry, I didn't know if that was one of them. All right, Shui, you run it, not me.
Okay, Judge, the Sosa Barreto, it's on page 1, Judge.
Okay, let's go.
Cause number 2020-001655, State of Texas versus Raul de Sosa Barreto. Announcement of council, please.
Aaron Delaney Matney for the state, Your Honor. The state is ready.
Omar Carmona on behalf of Mr. De Souza Barreto. Ready, Your Honor?
So how are we doing on this one? This one, it looks like we're just here on a status conference. Client has been in jail for a bit. We have a jury trial in March.
We actually have made a lot of progress with Miss Delaney Matney, and we're very grateful to her diligence in preparing this case, Judge. There is a new offer on the table. We believe, and she's given us two options. There are different consequences with each one. If you want, even if I'm understanding it correctly, if the state proceeds with an engaging, it's going to be 6 TDC. If the defendant wishes to go to TDC without an engaging offense, which does affect parole, it would be 8 TDC. We are in receipt of that. We are going to convey that tomorrow at the annex, Your Honor.
Okay, cool. So we have a status conference on 12/9. You know, if it works out, Omar, the sooner you can give us the heads up, the better, just because holidays will make things tricky about scheduling. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. But I think we're close, Your Honor. I think it's going to work out.
Cool. Thank you so much, Miss Erin. I think you just got a nice shout out from Mr. Carmona there. So
Thank you so much.
All right. We'll see you guys on the 9th on that one. Thank you very much.
That's good. Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, Your Honor.
Who's next, Sri?
Judge, Mr. Carmona has 2 other cases. I don't know if you want to take care of his.
Yeah, let's do that. So he's not too temp all day.
Yes, ma'am. And it's Walking Eagle on page 8. And Mr. Montes has the co-defendant.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. It's cause number 2021-020-0203. State of Texas versus Precious Walking Eagle. Cause number 2021-020-0202. State of Texas versus Jager Glenn Walking Eagle. Announcement of council, please.
Brian Herrera for the state of Texas, ready to proceed, Your Honor.
Omar Carmona on behalf of Precious Walking Eagle, ready to proceed.
Jose Montes for Jager Walking Eagle, we're ready.
So I thought this was one we had just reset on a new trial track for both of them, right?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Is there any, I can't imagine there's an update. Is there? Did you guys work it out already?
We're going to proceed to trial, Your Honor. It's just one of those that's going to have to get tried, at least from our end.
You know, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do on both of these. This is how I'm seeing the scheduling. I'm seeing a 2801 deadline of 12/14. Unless I hear some kind of objection from the state, we're going to cancel that setting and move the pretrial 2801 to the the February 8th setting. So we're going to skip that December setting. I don't imagine you all are going to need any hearings before the end of the year, are you? Do you have anything to file? Okay. So I'm just going to skip that 2801 deadline to coincide with the February setting, and we'll just look toward the trial dates.
Thank you.
Yes, Judge,
Alrighty.
no objection from the state.
All right, cool. If you have anything, feel free to file it. If you need a hearing, let us know if you need the hearing, but we won't see you on these 2 until February.
Thank you, Your Honor. May I be excused?
Who's next for Mr. Carmona?
He's got Valdez on page 7, Judge.
Okay. Do we have our in-person plea ready? I just lost time.
The defendant has showed up and I asked him to wait in the lobby, Judge.
Okay. Okay. Let's take care of a few more, but then we got to go to that one.
Yes, ma'am. It's cause number 2021-020-2442. State of Texas versus Luis Valdez. Announcement of council, please.
Brian Herrera for the state of Texas, ready, Your Honor.
Omar Carmona on behalf of Mr. Valdez, ready, Your Honor.
Judges conference, where are we on this one?
And Judge, for this one, I've requested, the only thing up on portal right now, Judge, are some photos. I don't know if it's an issue with portal, but none of the offense reports or supplements are available either to myself or Mr. Carmona. So I've went ahead and requested those from the agency just because they're not viewable on here, Judge, and I don't know what that's about, possibly because of the age of the victim, but generally those are made available. So I have requested those, and we'll make them available to Mr. Carmona as soon as I get them.
Okay, so Mr. Carmona, we're not going to be back until December 14th. So if you need to file something before that, I urge you to do that and request a hearing so that we can get moving on any issues.
Your Honor, I believe that we already had a motion to reduce bond. I think you already heard it at the last motion, bond hearing. Obviously not, the court didn't commit to anything, but the court did indicate that the court may reconsider Mr. Valdez's request for a much lower bond. So I was hoping that if you prefer us, we set it for another hearing, Judge.
I mean, you can do what you want with requesting hearings on the bond. My concern was that if you had a motion to file, so we're not in a 6-month, we don't know what we're doing and they haven't disclosed. I'm thinking more of a discovery hearing for lack of access to things. But of course, if you want to file something on the bond.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
All right. Okay, so don't come back to 12/14.
Judge, it might be something as simple as just a merging issue with portal. I don't know, but I'm hoping it's a quick fix.
Okay. All righty. Well, if I don't see you soon, we'll see you on the 14th. Okay. Does Mr. Carmona have anyone else?
No, Judge.
All right, then you're excused. Thank you, Mr. Carmona.
I'll see you at 3 o'clock, Your Honor.
Sounds good.
I'll make sure my children stay very quiet at 3 o'clock. Thank you.
Okay, take care. All right. Who's next, Chewy?
Hey,
I know
Judge,
is Mr. Well, let me ask you this. I see Mr. Stevens is on here. Is he not coming up to the court? Mr. Stevens, are you coming up? Your client is here.
Hi, Judge. I still have one for the docket this morning, and she's online waiting also.
Okay. All right. As long as you don't mind your other client waiting. Go ahead, Chewy.
Okay, Judge. Angel Gomez on page 2.
Okay.
And that's going to be with Mr. Ortiz, but I see that he stepped away.
Do we have somebody else queued up?
Okay, yes, Judge. We've got Manriquez on page 9.
Okay, go ahead.
It's cause number 2015-006193. State of Texas versus Reyes Jose Manriquez. Announcement to council, please.
Brian Herrera for the state of Texas, ready to proceed, Your Honor.
Good morning, Judge Perez.
Good morning.
Sorry about that. Francisco F. Macias for Mr. Reyes Jose Manriquez. We're ready to proceed on the pre-revocation.
Okay, so yeah, I think we had this down for a probation status. I think I'm pretty familiar with Mr. Manriquez's situation. We were checking on, and this is not the court's request, nor am I indicating any position on it, but that there was going to be some screening on Veterans Court, in Veterans Court.
That is correct, Your Honor. I have talked to Mr. Spin, and there's a couple of details that have to be ironed out. And he will be accepted into the program. Now, Your Honor, with me today here are his daughters. The one right next to me is Marisa Perez. She hasn't been involved with her dad until August because she was in England because her and her husband were deployed over there. And also here is her older sister, Melissa Diaz de Leon. And between these two ladies and their brothers, they're also going to be lending a lot of support to Mr. Jose Reyes Manriquez. And so I wanted to introduce them here in case they can't come once Spin has ironed out everything that he needs to. And so I was going to request a little bit more time in order to have Mr. Spin they've already staffed it and he's almost been accepted. They just have to iron out a couple more details.
So I appreciate the family. I know you'd had previous family members. I believe it was Mr. Manriquez's sister come for a bond hearing previously. So I appreciate the family coming in, Ms. Perez, Ms. De Leon. We are here in a probation status hearing, and Mr. Macias, I know you're trying to find the best resolution for your client. I can tell you, I am not at Veterans Court. And I have reviewed and thought about this case. But Mr. Manriquez is someone who just does not comply with terms of probation, albeit whether it's treatment, there was nothing he was compliant with. So my point in telling you this, Mr. Macias, is this. If Veterans Court is really anxious to work with Mr. Manriquez after they've staffed it and done their review, then my thought is that transfer it to the 346. She feels that it's something that he's going to benefit from. They certainly know their program more than I do. I can tell you, based on what I have seen as my probationer, I'm not going to Veterans Court. So I will leave that up to you if you want to present more information as the case gets screened and there is maybe some details that are lacking today and, just things we haven't had previously, but I am not at Veterans Court. So I will give you whatever time you think you need to come back here to see, to make your case for that type of modification. Do you want to, I was thinking 30 days. Do you need more than that?
No, I think student can get it done in 30 days, Your Honor.
Okay, so we'll come back on December 14th. Do we already have a setting? No, we'll come back on December 14th for the same thing, a probation status hearing. Yes, I won't forget. I know the family has been coming in and being supportive. My concern, and so that the family is aware, unfortunately, you all are not the ones that are going to be doing probation. You are not the ones that have to comply with terms and conditions. And I remember inquiring before with, I believe, his sister, as to all of the circumstances that, maybe weren't the best circumstances. I can only think he's had family support all this time, and it's just never gotten through to Mr. Manriquez what he is responsible to do. And so that I'll leave it at that. I'm not trying to chastise or do anything like that. It's just, this is not a situation that I'm looking to favorably in terms of our options here, but I'm open to it. So we'll see you all in 30 days. We'll see you, Mr. Macias, in 30 days, and we'll see where we are.
Thank you, Your Honor. I appreciate it.
Thank you all for your time. All righty.
Excuse at this time?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Who's next?
Okay, Judge Gomez on page 2.
Okay.
It's cause number 2021-020-0262, State of Texas versus Angel Gomez. Announcement to council, please.
Samantha Rugg on behalf of the state. We're ready, Your Honor.
Good morning, Judge. We're going to have Mr. Angel Gomez. We're also ready.
Final hearing plea deadline. What's the rec, Ms. Rocco?
Your Honor, so it's a reduction to Class A misdemeanor, 15 months, 100 hours of community service, $500 fine, UABA, curfew, cannot associate with other gang members, no contact with the complaining witness, anger management course, cannot go to the Latson Rec Center, Your Honor.
Mr. Ortiz?
Judge, this is one where I've had to talk to Mr. Curtis Cox on, and he's reviewing it. I just sent him an email, Judge. It's a case that I think should have never been filed as a first-degree felony. It's ridiculous. It should have been a simple assault case, in my opinion. But they turned it into a first-degree felony. And that's why I went ahead and I'm trying to get this thing started to where it should have been a misdemeanor and trying to get him in a PTD, Judge, is what I'm trying to do.
I understand. If I'm not mistaken, this is the one we've just been coming back kind of week after week, Mr. Duke.
Right.
Ray Duke had it. Have you communicated with Mr. Cox?
Yes, I have.
And
Yes, I have. I've actually I think I spoke to him Friday, I want to say.
Okay.
And I also emailed him, Judge, because he asked me for email, and I did email him.
Okay. So I don't know why we don't have an answer. Ms. Rago, do you have any information there?
Your Honor, so we recessed, that was on November the 2nd, and it was a week later for him to go with Mr. Curtis Cox. Now we are 2 weeks later, And I don't have any notes from Curtis Cox as well. So as of now, we're still at the 15 months. That's direct from us, from Mr. Duke and I. And if he wants to go to Mr. Cox, but I don't have any notes from Mr. Cox at this point.
Okay, we're gonna come back on Thursday, unless, I don't know.
Judge, if you give us a week, I mean, I think a week would be okay, Judge. I mean,
No,
I
we're gonna,
spoke to him. Let me see when I sent the email. Hold on. Let me look, Judge. Let me look.
Your Honor, I just want to let you know as well. So this rec was relayed on June 29, 2021. So it's been there for a while.
Well, I know that, and I think the judge does too, right, Judge? You know that too?
Yeah,
But I just think that it's should have, this thing was overcharged, you know? And I think I find it, I think that the lower echelon of the district attorney's office, in my opinion, should have viewed it like the way I'm viewing it, Your Honor. We're dealing with a kid who punched another guy, and they made a bigger deal than it was, okay? And I'll leave it at that, Judge. That's why I needed to.
let me ask,
Spoke to Mr. Cox about it.
we're at a final hearing plea deadline. Is this case otherwise ready to go to trial?
We would need a special setting. So my understanding, the witness is up in Seattle. So if that's the case,
Then I'm
we would
ready
have to
tomorrow,
fly down.
Judge. I'm ready tomorrow. Let's try this tomorrow then.
What type of timetable do you need, Ms. Rago?
Could we maybe mid-January, sometime in February?
Ridiculous.
So let's go to, let me look at my calendar. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. We're gonna go to January 14th. That is the trial setting.
I'll go ahead and do December 7th.
Because we don't have a trial setting. This final hearing plea deadline has just been pushed back and pushed back. So, with that.
So you're gonna
said-
try this as a first degree felony. You know you're not gonna get that.
It's a second. We can get a lesser.
You're not gonna get it as second either.
So I
That's-
don't need to have all that back
Golly,
right
you
now.
know?
So we will give
What a
you,
waste of time.
Mr. Ortiz, please be professional. I know
Sorry,
you-
I'm sorry. I'm just a
I
little
understand
frustrated
your
because I know the
frustration.
case very well.
I understand, but you know, it is very frustrating too when we don't have responses
Yes, ma'am.
back from higher ups. So that is not Ms. Rago's responsibility. What I will give you is, okay, what's today? Let me get to December. We're gonna come back on December 7th for a status. We will then have our trial setting for January 14th. Is that right? Did I say the right date? Yes, January 14th. And we'll have the final hearing plea deadline the Tuesday before that. Okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you very much.
May I be excused?
Yes, ma'am. Mr.
Thank
Ortiz,
you.
do you have any other ones?
No, I don't.
He's
I
got
think I do.
Eribes, Judge, on page 1.
What is it? Eribes, go ahead.
Cause number 2020-0D03206, State of Texas versus Armando Gonzalez Eribes.
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, please.
Brian Herrera for the state of Texas. ready?
Yes, please.
Mr. Ortiz, this is a 2801 motions on Mr. Eribes. Do you have any motions?
I don't, Your Honor.
Okay. I'm sure we have a trial setting. We'll see you at the next setting. Thank you very
Okay,
much.
thank you. May I be excused?
Yes, sir. Take care.
Thank you.
Who's next, Shui?
Judge Gaitan on page 2.
Go ahead.
Cause number 2014-0D05057. Cause number 2016-0D01420. State of Texas versus Yvette Delgado Gaitan. Announcement of council, please.
Good morning, Judge. Regina Arditi on behalf of the defense, Yvette Gaitan, and it's Kevin Markentel. I had spoken to him earlier, Judge.
Mr. Mercantile, are you there?
Let me call him, Judge.
Okay.
Hold on. I just spoke to him just a little bit ago about the case, but I don't want
Go
to.
ahead, Brian.
Judge, I see his box. I don't know if
I
he
do
might be
too.
stepped away from his
Yeah.
desk.
Oh, Kevin, are you there?
Let me call him. Like I said, I spoke to him just a few minutes ago, Judge.
Okay. We have somebody else queued up, Tree?
Yes, Judge, Trujillo on page 7.
Yes.
Cause number 2020-0D04194, State of Texas versus Mary Elise Trujillo. Announcement of council, please.
Brian Herrera for the state of Texas, ready to proceed, Your Honor.
And Martina, on behalf of Mrs. Trujillo, ready to proceed, Your Honor.
And this is a final hearing plea deadline. Client is not in custody. What's the rec?
If I may address the court, Your Honor, my client has returned the paperwork on the actual plea. For some reason, she has not returned the 3914, Your Honor. And I've emailed them to her. I will follow up again today to see why she has not returned those, but she did return the actual plea papers.
Okay, so we're almost there. What if we do a status on December 7th?
Okay.
And if we get, go ahead.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Your Honor. One thing I would like the court to be aware is my client lives out of town. She's indigent. So if we set the plea, we would need to give her some time to kind of come into town.
Okay, so I'm going to give you December 7th as a status. That's at the very least going to be my deadline to check in with you on completion of paperwork, which we may already get it after, you receive it. We might see it. But then we will also use that setting to, what I'm going to tell you is this. When you talk to your client, if she's able to make it, we will accommodate her plea on that date.
Okay.
If not, be prepared to give me a date, which I think trying to squeeze that into December might be tricky. So we might be looking to January, but because she's out of town, we'll work with you. If she needs to get in before December, fine, we'll do it like that. But we'll come back on the 7th at 9 a.m. Okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Okay, who's next, Tree?
Hey, Judge Morgan, page 5.
Oh, who has Morgan?
That's Miss Martin.
as well.
Yes, he's my client.
Okay, go ahead.
Cause number 2020-0D03820, State of Texas versus Don D. Trayvon Morgan. Announcement of council, please.
Brian Herrera for the state of Texas, ready to proceed, Your Honor.
Julia Martina, on behalf of Mr. Nandi, ready to proceed, Your Honor.
Chewy, did Mr. Morgan check in?
No, Judge, he didn't.
Okay. So we're here at a final hearing plea deadline. What's the rec?
Judge, so the last recommendation, and we had an agreement in place before we lost the defendant. It was 8 deferred, Your Honor. And I think we had run it by, because he's out of state, and I think we had run it by Miss Pineda. We just needed some last details so that he could,
When did we lose the defendant? Because that's what I was going to tell you, Ms. Martin. I received a PR notice. I requested a violation. Capias is coming. When did we lose him, though?
Judge, he had been communicating with our office, and then he wasn't talking back to us. If you can look at it, but I know that at the last time we had a hearing, we weren't able to get a hold of him.
Okay. Yes, I think, I want to say August was also part of the PR. I think it was similar. I'm sorry. Failed to report since July 16th. So that's the route. So we'll get the KPS going. Final hearing plea deadline, and we can put you on the June 3rd docket and just see if we catch up with him.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thanks very much. Who's next, Tree?
Judge, we have Carrasco on page 8.
Okay.
Let me bring in. Okay, it's cause number 2020-0D05710, State of Texas versus Justin Patrick Carrasco. Announcement of council, please.
Brian Herrera for the state of Texas, ready to proceed, Your Honor.
Joseph Heath on behalf of defense, Your Honor, ready?
Okay, and this is a motion to recall Capias or warrant. Mr. Veith?
That's correct, Your Honor. And I actually had an agreement with the state on this, and a signed order with both my signature and the state signature has been provided to the court along with a motion. And it was a motion to recall warrant and reinstate bond, Your Honor. My client was on a bond stemming from minor possession charge. He had been in the process of moving to Florida right before this happened. It happened during the pandemic. things were a little in disarray at that point. I think it was in September. And he didn't get notice of the hearing. He didn't realize he had a hearing, and he ultimately missed a hearing, and that's when a KBS was issued. He did a bad job communicating with the PR bond department. He thought I don't think he had a very good, clear understanding of what was going on. I mean, at one point he thought his case was declined, but I got on the case immediately. I reached out to the state to try to resolve this, and we also have a plea deal on the table that would be credit for time served on a misdemeanor, Your Honor.
Okay, so he's not here. He's not here in El Paso?
He is now. Your Honor. He was in Florida during the time this happened. He was living and working in Florida, but he has moved back. And he recently learned about this warrant when he was, I think, applying for jobs. It came up, and he has a job offer on the table, and they can't finalize his position until the warrant's recalled as well.
So what's the deal? What are you guys working out?
1244B, 1 day credit for time served. Yeah, Mr. Herrera, you can speak that.
Yes, Judge. So that's the agreement for Mr. Carrasco, 1244B for credit for time served.
Okay, so do they have plea papers?
No, Judge. I think I can get those circulated. At this point, it shouldn't take me long, but I was just pending the outcome of today's hearing, but I can circulate those right away.
Yeah, I wouldn't wait on that. Mr. Veith, I'm not inclined to recall the warrant, but let me tell you what I will do. How quickly could you get your client in to review the paperwork?
Immediately, Your Honor.
If you can do it, we can do it this afternoon.
Okay, well, I will see if the state can get me the plea papers in time to do that.
I think it's doable. If you can get your client in, we go from 1 to almost 3 o'clock. So if you will just give me the heads up, if you cannot, if you will let me know that you can't.
I think we can.
Okay. All righty. All right. Then we'll see you this afternoon. I'll say 2 o'clock, but you come in when you're ready.
Is it going to be in person or by Zoom?
By Zoom. So he means he has to go to the police center. If you want to come in person, we can try that way, but.
No, the police center would be better. I can send him over to the police center.
Perfect. We'll see you this afternoon. Brian, get him those papers.
Yes, Judge. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Who's next, Tree?
Hey, Judge, Mr. Mercantile is there. So if you want to go back with Ms. Gaitan.
Yeah, let's go there.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, it's cause number 2014-020-5057. Cause number 2016-020-1420. State of Texas versus Yvette Delgado Gaitan. Announcement of council, please.
Did we lose Ms. Arditi? Ms. Arditi, if you're speaking, you're muted. Mr. Mercantile? Announcements? Anyone?
Everyone's muted.
Can we all unmute when you speak? Sorry.
Judge, who are you calling? Are you calling Kevin?
Yes. Are you on Ms. Gaitan's case?
They call us?
Yes, they're here. They're on there, Mr. Arditi. So
Okay,
jump on.
let me get back in.
Okay,
So
Mr. Arditi's coming back in.
Hold on. Let us both get back in.
Who you was?
Tell them I'm on the phone with you.
Yeah, I think they can hear you. Can you hear her on the phone?
I sure can.
Hi, Judge. Let me get back on Zoom, okay, Judge?
We were talking to I was talking to my chief earlier too while you were, and I think I missed you call the case earlier. But I think we got a pretty good deal offered with her permission. And it's just a matter of, well, I'll let Mr. Arditi explain too when she gets on, but I think we're going to have this thing wrapped up here.
Yes, Judge, that is correct. I have been discussing this with Kevin, and I have already relayed the message to my client.
Okay.
In between all this, it's been going on with Zoom, Judge. And so my client has a good offer before her, and she's going to attempt to see what she can do and get back to me as soon as possible.
The deal includes paying restitution up front, and it's graduated. If you pay so much up front, you get this deal. If you pay all of it up front, you get that deal. But so she's going to see what she can come up with restitution wise. She's already come up with $5,000 and paid it to the victim already, but she still owes him a remaining of $15,000. So, I mean, she's made some good efforts already, but if we can get her, get us some more money, the deal is going to get quite a bit better. So she just needs time to try to come up with it. Can you give us some more time? Maybe have a status on it?
Oh, no, this is what we're gonna do. I'm not sure, I'm sure you've seen it, Mr. Mercantile. These are 2014 and 2016 cases.
Correct.
Judge,
So,
just with all due respect, she has paid the restitution in the 2014 case.
Correct.
So that is part of the deal, that it would be dismissed if she comes up with more in the 2016 case. And she has, since I've been her attorney, she has come up with money. And I spoke to her just a few minutes ago, gave her the news of the new offer, and she was quite motivated. So,
well, I hope she is, because this is the same discussion, and I can't speak to the specifics of, because you haven't told me the specifics other than some type of graduated payment on the 2016 case. But I can remember these discussions all the way since back in March. Same story. So please re-emphasize to your client that if she's really motivated, that's a good thing, because if she isn't squared away by November 30th, she is going to trial on December 2nd. So I'm not gonna entertain any more working on this rec. This has dragged on long enough. So we'll see you on November 30th. Thank you, Judge, for your help in communicating and working with Mr. Mercantile on this. Mr. Mercantile, if it's not squared away, you can anticipate a trial on December 2nd, okay?
thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you both.
Bye-bye. May I be excused, Judge?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
You have
Who's
a good
next?
Thanksgiving, all
Y'all
of y'all.
take care.
Bye-bye.
Take care, Mercantile, unless you have something else.
Thanks. Oh, no, ma'am. That's all, Judge. Thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, Judge Lozoya, page 8.
Go ahead.
Cause number 2020-020-3380. Cause number 2021-020-1623. State of Texas versus Josiah Willie Lozoya. Announcement of council, please.
Brian Herrera for the state of Texas, ready to proceed, Your Honor.
Good morning, Your Honor. Jesus Soleas on behalf of Mr. Lozoya. I need to announce not ready, Judge, simply because I have not been able to contact this young man.
So this is a gentleman that we've just now, have we ever had him? Like, I can't even remember a time when we did have him. We did at some point?
Once upon a time, Judge.
Yeah.
Once upon a time. Okay.
True. I thought, it's the strange thing is that I talked to his bail bond company. I think it was 915, and he's checking in with them occasionally.
Did he check in with us this week? Should we?
Not to my knowledge.
No, Judge, he didn't.
Okay. We haven't had we haven't pulled the bond. We haven't nothing. So he's not here. He's not here. So we're going to pull that bond. He's not on PR, no, just on the bail bond.
No.
Well, maybe he'll show up today, Mr. Olivas. Maybe we'll be looking
Yeah, if you give it to the end of the day, Judge, I tried calling him, texting him, emailing him, nada.
Yeah. I don't really see that happening. But we have our trial setting. Okay, I'll give it to the end of the day.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
That rec is 8 deferred, Mr. Olivas. If you have.
Yeah, I saw that in both cases.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I saw that. So, but I can't even get a hold of those kids to
Sure.
communicate.
Just in case you get a hold of them.
I will.
All right. Let us know by the end of the day, Mr. Olivas, either way. Thank you.
Okay, take care, everybody.
Take care. Who's next, Chewy?
I'm muted, Tree.
Sorry about that. Gonzalez on page 8.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, Judge, I just saw him come on and I believe he logged off. Oh, no, there he is.
He's right there.
Cause number 2019-020-2060. State of Texas versus Jorge Gonzalez. Announcement of council, please.
Brian Herrera for the state of Texas, ready to proceed, Your Honor.
Is this not public defenders, or is this a?
It's not, Judge. It was.
Oh, okay. All righty. Miss Carla, are you on this one?
Morning, Judge. Yes, I am.
Okay, so I know you probably sent these reports earlier, but I have not seen them yet. So do you have a report on Mr. Gonzalez? Why are we here for a review?
Yes, Judge. This is a follow-up status or review from the last hearing we had back in May of this year. Basically, what happened back in May is Mr. Gonzalez was brought in front of the court to ask permission to allow him to drive. The court allowed him to drive, gave him the permission to drive, and he was to switch from the in-home to the interlock device.
I did review this report. I'm sorry.
Okay.
But what was not so clear, I mean, I see a recommendation of client to remain compliant on the interlock and maintain driving privileges. What I don't see is a confirmation from probation in terms of the compliance on the monitor. Do we have any issues on the monitor?
There are no issues that were reported, Judge. The officer did submit a few reports earlier today. I can forward them to you. I reviewed them. There's no
issues,
indication of any violations. No, Your Honor.
Okay. When does he term?
We have him until June 2023.
Okay. So it sounds like we're in good shape, Mr. Gonzalez. Just stay compliant on the monitor. Don't let your insurance lap, all of that stuff, and you'll be good to go. If we have any issues, I know probation will let me know, but it sounds like you're on track.
Everything's good. I do want to request though, I was reading on the Texas law that, and I did talk about it with my previous probation, and then it got switched over from Ms. Alvarado to Victor, just recently Victor. If completed, I know I can't finish probation earlier than the 4 years. We're almost getting there. It's about 1.5 years left. But that the machine can be removed if half of the probation is already completed. Like I was telling Victor, community service hours are done, 10 days of probation, repeat offender courses are done, the victim impact panel is done. I've done everything that I'm supposed to. I just respectfully request that if you could possibly remove this machine from the vehicle, since I only have about 1.5 years left. Also, just on a side note as well, I just increased I did get a different job, same company, but just a different position. So I did increase my payments from $20 minimum payment to $60 a month, just to be in compliance with that as well. Court fees are all paid up, not paid off, but up to date. But I do, just in regards to that, just if at all possible, if we can, just because I'm in this new position, I've had the personal machine for like about 2 years. I know I've only had the vehicle about some time now, but you won't get any trouble out of me. Victor, I've been working, just very close with Victor, just a short time that I've been with him. But the other day, I just, work is aware of it, the people that need to be aware of it, but I just don't want there to be any issues with me having the machine or them knowing that I have the machine, so to say. I know that it's my fault, my punishment, but I feel like as if at all possible, if we could possibly, get in your good graces, to remove this machine. And I don't know if you remember me as well. I did apply for the occupational twice with you, once on my own, and then I brought the lawyer in. And so I'm just trying to do everything that I can do just to stay in compliance. I did also get permission. I'm sorry if I got somebody in trouble to get that travel arrangement done as well. I didn't mean to get anybody in trouble, but I did get travel arrangements asking the court prior to, which is another case that, or
so
another
let
thing
me
that I
stop
asked
you right there,
permission to
Mr.
check.
Gonzalez. Do you have a valid driver's license?
I do, ma'am.
Okay, all righty. I am so happy that you are doing well, and but not just well, you're going above and beyond, and don't think that is not unnoticed. I appreciate that. I also know it is kind of the standard, right? What you're doing right now is what everybody that is on probation does in this court. This is not something personal to you. There would have to be, I can't think of anyone that I take the monitor off while they're on probation for this type of offense. And let me tell you why, so that we have this understanding. you will probably never, ever, and I hope this is the case, ever be non-compliant, not even once with your monitor. But that device is the only thing that I have to assure me that, someone doesn't slip up and have a bad day, and lo and behold, they turn to drinking, they get behind the wheel of a car, and we have another problem. I cannot, and I will not remove that monitor. It's just not going to happen. You want to make the request, you can come back and make the request. There is nothing here compelling that outweighs the security measure, I guess, of having that monitor. Okay, and it's not personal to you, Mr. Gonzalez. Believe me. Attorneys come in here on behalf of their clients. People go and hire attorneys, and I don't know if I've yet heard a set of circumstances that gets me to the point of saying no monitor. You sometimes, when it's an issue with timing or financial, there are other accommodations. I will always look to make probation workable. But when we're talking about a DWI third, there's no way that monitor's coming off. So, but again, it's not personal, Mr. Gonzalez. I commend you for everything you've done, but it's what you agreed to do. So what else?
Yeah. Yeah, I just, with regards to the information I read, it said there's no early termination on my probation, but possibly if more than half is done, the machine can be removed. But I figured, since I'm in the review hearing, I figured I'd ask. But in any case, thank you.
I understand. I understand. And if something else comes up and you want to address me, you tell your probation officer, we'll have a review hearing and we'll talk about it. I appreciate that you see what your responsibility is and work through it the way it's supposed to, unlike other people who unfortunately say, well, you know what? I'm not going to do it, or I'm not going to comply, and things get off track and then people get in trouble. You're not doing that, so I commend you. I think it's a responsible thing to do. You have to understand my concerns include the safety of this community, and that's one way I can ensure it or hope to ensure it. Okay?
Yes, ma'am. All right.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. I hope everything stays well.
Okay.
Happy holidays. Hopefully we don't see you, but if you need to come back, we'll have a hearing, okay? Yeah, I think he froze. Oh, is he gone? Oh, no, here he is. All right. For my purposes, that you could offer a second, Mr. Gonzalez, but we're adjourned on your matter unless you have anything else. Thank you. He's indicating, I don't know what he's talking about. You're muted, Mr. Gonzalez.
Okay, we're good. Thank you so much.
Take care. Happy holidays.
All right,
Who's next,
happy
Chewy?
holidays.
Hey, Judge Natividad on page 5.
Okay.
Cause
Here, President,
number,
ma'am.
just a minute, ma'am. Cause number 2020-030-0646, State of Texas versus Dorian Desiree Natividad. Announcement of council.
Brian Herrera for the state of Texas, ready to proceed, Your Honor.
Brent Stevens for Miss Natividad. We're ready, Your Honor.
And I do see Ms. Natividad. Is that your client, Mr. Stevens?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, she's here. She was required to be here. Was there an issue with the communication or anything, or why did we have her here?
That was the court's instructions to have her here, but she did have an issue yesterday with logging in on Zoom. She had an issue with her daughter being injured at school, so she had to take care of that.
Okay, well, she's here today. We have a judges conference. What's going on?
We already have a plea agreement. I
Okay.
have plea papers ready to send in probably sometime today.
Oh, great. So we have our next setting on December 14th. If you need a setting before then, Mr. Stevens, just get us our paperwork completed and we'll get you scheduled.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
Take care. Good luck to you, Ms. Natividad. Just touch base with your attorney, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. All right. Hope your daughter's okay. All right. Who's next, Shui?
I'm sorry, Judge, I was on the phone.
No worries.
Okay, give me 1 second, sir. Okay, Judge, of the cases that, no, I've got one other one.
I see Mr. Gomez. I bet he's here for me. I'd hate to keep him waiting anymore. Who does he have?
Mr. Gomez, who do you have, sir? Is it,
Jorge Roman, George Roman.
okay, George.
Is that the gentleman that's in custody? Is this the guy that we had issue with? Is he said?
No, he's an absconder, Your Honor.
Oh, okay. Let's take care of that one.
Yes, Judge. It's cause number 2017-0D0-0480, State of Texas versus George Luis Roman. Announcement, counsel, please.
Brian Herrera for the state of Texas, ready to proceed, Your Honor.
Let me see.
Antonio Gomez for adult probation.
Good morning. Okay, so I see the warrant was issued back in November. Order to dismiss motion to revoke affidavit. What was the deal with Mr. Roman, Mr. Gomez?
Your Honor, he was just arrested in October for a family violence, and has not reported. I've done several home visits. I have made some calls with some of my friends with law enforcement, and they're helping me trying to locate Mr. Roman.
Ah, that's right. That's right. Okay, so this is the one I was thinking about. So this is one that, well, the warrant is issued. So we're good to go there. For my purposes right now, I want to go ahead and just get off the record and get off of YouTube. Ms. Martin.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Okay, Judge. Are you ready for the next one? I'm sorry.
No, I need to get off of YouTube.
We just had one other one, Judge Murillo on page 9.
Okay, stand by, Mr. Gomez.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thanks. Go ahead, Chuy.
Cause number 2021-0D0-2157, State of Texas versus Angel Murillo. Announcement to counsel, please.
Brian Herrera for the state of Texas, ready to proceed, Your Honor.
Your Honor, real quick on this one, this is one where the defendant was allegedly deported and we had not had communication and neither had Ms. Martin.
Okay, so we're here for a status conference. Ms. Martin, is that yours?
Yes, it is, Your Honor. I have been in contact with Mr. Murillo via text. I'm assuming it's him because it was the number provided to us by PR Bond. He is happily living in Mexico. He has indicated that he has no intentions of returning to the United States, Your Honor.
Okay. So I'm guessing he didn't check in with us, right?
That's correct, Judge. He did not check in yesterday.
Okay. But what is his bond situation? I don't see any notation on the docket.
Let me get that for you now, Your Honor.
It was a 15,000 PR bond, Your Honor.
I didn't get a report from him, did I? I only had Mr. Morgan and the other Crystal, whatever her name was. Those were the only two. Have you seen a PR report, Cindy, on him?
I have not, Your Honor. Let me request from Mr. Gonzalez now.
Yeah. So we're gonna pull his PR bond whenever he decides to cross over, and then there'll be an order there urging him to come visit the jail.
Thank you, Your Honor. I will let you.
I don't know what to do.
Thank you.
All righty. Okay. With that, I think we're done. I don't know if I really don't know. As long as we get the warrant, I don't need another setting. Except for maybe the check on them in 6 months, but I don't want to give them a spot. All right.